Hello everyone, good day to you. Hope you are doing good and welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. So today we are going to discuss about the Linux local user and group management. So about the whole and explained way we will look at the things, the theoretically as well practically. We will see that how local users and groups are being managed on the Linux servers. So this is the goal of this session, is that we have to explore the things that how we can manage the local Linux users and group and administer local password policies, and what is the role of users and group on the Linux system. So this is our objective or the goal of the today, that how the local user and group is work. So how they are understood by the system or the server, how commands run as a super user, right? What we have to do from the root user, what we can do, and what a non-root user can do on the system. So everything today we are going to discuss about the. So we will also look at the practicals in the lab, just like the how the users are being managed, just like the user, how to add the user, delete the user, modification the user, how we can get the super user access, and how we can manage the local user account and everything about the group account. So let's get started on we can get this started on the Linux server, so we can do practically things, that what are the things and how these things are being managed. So let's do one thing. So on the first, let me log into the servers first. So I have logged in the system, and this is my system, so RAM systems, and this is the IP address of my systems. So this is I have hosted a server on the Linux, and today we are going to learn. So before we start and learn, right, what is the user? First we have to understand about the user. What is exactly a user on the Linux system? So on the Linux system, every process or every program running on the as a particular user, every file is owned by a particular user, and access to the files and directory are restricted by the users. So the user associated with the running process determine the file and directory accessible to that process. And if you want to see that how we can see the running users, or what all users are there and everything. So just like there is a command, just like the id command, so it will show you the current user logged in users. Just like you can also see here that EC2 is the username, and RAM system, this is the system name. Okay, so if I run the command id command, so it will give us a lot of information about the current logged in user, right? It gives the user ID and the username, group ID and the group name. Also any more groups are available, right? The user which is a part of any other group, just like this is a part of ADM, RHEL and system general. So all these details is being given by this id command, right? So if you want to see that which users is associated with the any particular directory, then what we can see is just like we have a directory, temp directory. So if you want to see, so this directory is owned by the root user, and the group is also a root. So generally this is the owner of and owned by the root user. So every directory, everything is owned by a user, just like the file or directory on this. Also we can see, just like as I said, that there is a lot of process, right, that is all being accessed as, or it's accessed and the running as a user only. To see here there are many processes running, just like these processes are running as a root user, and these processes are running as a EC2 user. So these things are, as I said, that every process and files and directories are associated with the users. So user is a simple entity or the account which is created on the Linux system, which is responsible for provide the restrictions and the file and directory, and every process is also running as a user. So this is the things about the users, the general introduction about the users. So generally what happens, that if you want to see that where we can see the information of the users on the Linux system, so this detail we can see on the there is a configuration file which is /etc/passwd. This is the configuration file where you can see. So if you want to see the detail of the users, right? So there are a lot of users are available, right? These, and if you see in this file there are multiple columns, right? Just the first is the name of the user, and this X denote the encrypted password, right? So historical, the password were stored here or kept here, but nowadays that password is being stored in the shadow file. So that is the file name, right? So we can see, let me switch to the root so we don't have to run as every time we have to run the sudo command. So right, just like the passwd, so it will give us the more details, right? And the passwords are being saved here in the shadow files, right? So if you will see, just like the any user which has the password configured, right? So that will be in the encryption format right here. After that it will show the password aging policy, right? And this is the password aging policy on this. So there are, so if we come to the again back on the passwd, so it gives us the, this is user ID and this is group ID, right? Just like if I see here, if I see and we filter with the any particular user, so we can understand in a more better way, right? Sorry, I have typo. Just like the we have a user server username, so it has what it has that this is username, this is the encrypted password which is being sent to the shadow file right now, but in the history in the past it was being configured here and kept here, but nowadays it is in the shadow. And this is the third column. It is so just like the user ID. This is the user ID of this particular server, and this is the group ID, and this column is Zecos, which is being used for the comment. Just like the, if you want to mention any additional information about this user, just like the server users and what is the user purpose, so you can mention here and you can keep here. So other next in this column, this shows their home directory /home and server user. This is the home directory of server user, and in the last column it shows us the cell, which cell we are using. So currently this user are configured to use the batch cell. So this is the detail about the users. Sorry. So this is the main detail about the how the human can understand the things, right? All these details are being here. So we have seen on the password file, right, how these things are being configured in the user configuration file. Now let's talk about the group. So what is this? So just like the user, right? So group is just a group of the users which works just like the we can grant any access to the file and directory on the group level instead of the user level. So, and there are two types of the users. One is the primary, and there is a secondary supplementary, which is also called a supplementary group or the secondary group. So if we see, so normally what happens that whenever you create any user, so the same names, right? Any just like if we see on the /etc group file, right? So just like if we have the user, so this is the group name, right? And if I switch to the EC2 user, right, id command, if I run, so whenever you will create any new user, it will automatically create a primary user with the same name just like the username, and it will assign a user ID, also a group ID. The secondary things is that the supplementary group or the secondary group. So what happens that whenever you if you want to do grouping of anything, right, just like the if we have the three departments or three teams, just like one of the developer team, one of the admin team, and another is any other teams, right? So we want to group those teams, right, based on their groups, just like admin team, the developer team, and any application team. So that time what we have to create a supplementary group, and supplementary groups we have to do, or we have to create manually. It will not created automatically by the system. So these things are about the groups, and groups details is being captured in the /etc group file. So you can see here, right? So these are the things about the what is the group and users. So let's see that right now what happened, that users type. So there are three types of user. One is the super user, that is called as a root user on the Linux system. Just like on the Windows system there is an administrator user which has all the power. In the same way on the Linux we have the root users, that is by default on the system, and that is very super power. It can do anything on the anything means anything. It can destroy your system and it can do everything on the system. Second is the non-root user. Generally if we talk, right, so any user created by default, it would be non-root or non-sudo. It will not have any kind of the root level of privilege, or just like the simple user we can say. Or third is the sudo user. Sudo is generally what happens that whenever you create any normal user, and if you want to assign them or the some root level accesses, so it can perform some root level privileges will have, and it can perform some root level tasks. So that is the sudo user. So we can have a configuration in the /etc sudo file. So that is the /etc sudo file. So here we have to mention the sudo's detail, and I will also show you in the later on. So all the detail would be there, how we can do everything on these. So this is generally how you can gain access to the root user. Generally when you log into the system, so it will be just like if it is showing $, this means that it is a normal user or the root user, non-root user we can say, right? So if you want to switch to user, then what you can run the su command, so it will show. But right now we have to switch to the root user, so we will have to use the sudo access. We have to run this. So if it is showing as has sound, this means that we are on the root user, and you can also run the id command. It will give you the detail of that which user are currently on the system. So this will give you the detail about the user. So this is the about the how you can gain the super user access node. So just like we have seen that how we can switch and everything. So next let's come to the user management, local user. So how we can add a new user, just like if I see here, or if I run the check the detail of the /etc/passwd file, so it will give us just like some default users and the users which are available here. But if we want to create any new user, then we have a command user add and the username. This is the syntax of the, let me sorry. So this is the syntax of adding a new user. Just like if I want to add a user, so username is just like the RAM. So earlier it was not showing in the, just like not copying any file. Home directory already exists. Okay, so let me delete user-del -r RAM. Okay, let me create again username RAM. Oh, sorry, typo, username user add RAM. So we have added this user, and if we want to see in the passwd file, right, so we can see where is RAM. So RAM has been added into the system, and this is the user ID of RAM, this is the group ID of the RAM, and this is also the if we see, right, if we want to see the detail of RAM user, then from the root you can mention the group name, right. It will give you the detail of the user ID, primary group ID, and the groups in which the RAMs is there. So by default it has given the username and the primary group name the same, just like the RAM, and it has allocated the user ID and the group ID. So this is the to add a new user, we have command user add. if you want to delete the user, then we have a command user del, right, and the username, right. So but before deleting the things, right, if you will simply type this, then what happened that if you want to see, right, ls-ld and home, so in the ls, so here is the home directory of user by default in the home directory, right. If we simply use run the user del and the username, it will not delete the home directory, right. It is still here and we have to manually delete, right. So I can delete here just like this way. But if you have the user, just like the RAM user is already there, okay, no issue, a user has been created and the home directory is also there. And if you want to remove the complete home directory, right, in the one command, then you have the command user del -r and RAM. But it is not recommended in the production environment, because sometimes what happened that some user has their personal data on their home directory, but it will also, but before dealing you have to check on that server or the directory whether you don't have the data. So if I run the command just like this, so it will automatically will be removing the home directory as well. Second thing, now we have discussed about the user add and user del. Third is thing that how we can modify. So there is a command user mode command, right, and if you want to see, there is a lot of details just like the user mode. So just like the first add a user add and RAM and cat/etc pass to rudy and find the detail of that, and we will see that how this interpret all this detail in the just like if we have this detail, right, and in this Zcos box we don't have any kind of the information. But if you want to modify, right, without deleting the things, then what you can do, you can run this -c command and you can add a value just like the comment, what comment you want to write, just like the created by RAM on the RAM user. So if we see again, right, so these things has been added into the automatically added into the pass.wd file and has been passed the detail that this user is created by RAM. If you want to change the group ID, then what you have to do, user mode -c, and you have to specify the primary group. So generally it is just like it is showing as 1002, but I want 2002. I want to for which user I want to create for this user. So oh sorry, 2002 is there already, so let me do it 2213 and RAM user user mode user group. Oh sorry, it is for the group ID. So it was showing as a group ID rather than the UID. We have to change the -u instead of Z to 234, and it will change the this UID, right. If you want to change the UID of the RAM, then RAM user. So if we see at the right, so it has been changed. And if you want to change the group ID, right, but the group ID, before changing the group ID, that group should be there. So that in that case only we can change this group ID, otherwise it will not give us the details. Generally I think it should be a special primary group for the user account, okay, and primary group should be there unless until it will not allow us to change the group ID, because the group is not there, and how you can change the. But yeah, if you want to mention any specific group, just like the let me group add administrator, group add, sorry, typo, right. So cat/etc group grep -i admin. So we have added this, and now if you want to change the user mode -z 1003 to RAM user, so this can /etc pass wd -i. So it has been changed to 1003 because it is already there. Unless we don't have any users, it will not allow us to change the group ID. So first we have to create the user group, and then only we can change the group ID. But yeah, definitely we can change the user ID of the user, because this user has the user is available, and we can change of the. Okay, first what we have done, we have changed the comment, we have changed the user ID, we have changed the group ID. Now let's change the home directory, right? So if you want to modify the home directory, so let me create any specific home directory, right? So just like the mkdir, so it doesn't matter, -p -a -b -c mkdir. Okay, so user mode hyphen and the if you want to home directory, so which home directory we want to change? This new home directory name for which user? RAM user. Okay, so you can see here that earlier it was /home/ram, but now it has been changed to the ABC. So generally whenever the and before we switching to the RAM user, what we have to do, we also have to look at their permission, because right now it is created by the root user, and it will have the root user and groups ownership on this directory. So it will not allow to switch to the RAM user to this directory. So you have to change the permission to this username and group, so accordingly it can change the permission, or it can land into directly the ABC directory. So till now we have done the comment, we have changed the group ID, we have changed the home directory, we have commented, and now what we have to do, we have to check the cell, right? So we have to cell. Oh, sorry. Okay, so right now it is showing as a bin bash, right? So let me user mode and -s to css to RAM user, right? And if we run again command, so it will give us the cell is also being changed, right? So these things we have till now, we have changed all these things. And if you want to log the users, then there is also user mode -l and the RAM. So su failed to execute css no cell. Oh, okay, that this css cell is not there. So first what I will have to change the bin bash again. Bin bash and RAM. Okay, pwd. So it has changed to this directory automatically, and has been changed to the cell, right? But from the other user it will not allow us to log. So we have discussed about the user, how user can user add, user delete, user modifications as well. So a lot of things we have done till now. And now if we talk about the passwords, right? So we have changed the we have just like the user add, user2. So if you want to change the password or to set the password, then what we have to, we have command pwd user2, and it will ask us to enter the password, right? So generally as a root user, what we can do, generally we can set any kind of the permission or the password, right? but when you will switch to the user 2, right, so if you want to pass wd user 2, it will not. So what it say, only root can specify username, so that we have to consider and have to be taken in mind that only the root user can specify the names, or sometimes, right, not sometimes, every time, because it has the root is super admin and it has special privilege to every systems generally. So only what it can do, it can change its self password by using the, and it will give, generally we cannot change any specific password, we have to mention some complex password, then only it will allow us to change our password. Sorry. Just like the, if we allow enter the complex password, it will allow us, otherwise it will not allow us. So this is the things that how we can change our passwords. So set password, we have configured the passwords and everything. So let's further we talk about the managing the groups. Just like the users, we have added the users, we have delete the users, and we have modify the or alter the users. In the same manner, what we can do, we can add a group, just like the group add or the group name, if you want to group name, right. So just like the if I see here, right, so you group and group, right, so it will give group name, we have added this group. If we want to delete, then we have the group del and the group name, just like the group name, so it will no more show into the group directory or the group file. So this is the generally add and deletion. And further we have the group mode command, right. This group mode allow us to alter the whole things, right, then how we can modify or the change the names and everything. So generally what happens is, generally what I have seen in my experience, that what most time we do is generally that we create we create the group, and what we use the user mode -a and small a and g, so into the add into the secondary group. So just like the any secondary group, right, so server user, and we want to make a member of RAM, then if I do, right, so this become the member of this user. So generally we do not do a lot much on the servers, right, but yeah, in the same manner we can also do a lot of things on the, just like if you want to change the group mode, right, group group mode -g to group name, group server user. So if we see, right, so earlier it was the ID of this, and right now it is changed to this. So we can change the group ID and lot of other as well. So this is the about the users and group. So if we want to make any member of any other group, then we can use the, so there is further what we can see, or we see here that how we can do the password aging in this. So there is a command -ch -l and the username, so it will give us the detail of the password, right, password policy that sorry, last password, when it was saying, when the password is going to expire, password is inactive, account when is the account is going to expire and everything. So if you want to change the, right, and what we can do, ch age and the username. So it will give us the detail, right, that what you want to minimum password is, what should be the minimum password, right, and that just like the it should not be changed by the user itself by the within the 2 days. If I mention here maximum password, it will forcefully say user to change the password if too specific. Just like the if I want to forcefully say it a user, right, to prompt the user to change the password after 3 days, then it will, then you can leave it password expiration warning in how many, so before 7 days it will give us the warning to expire when the password will be inactive, right, after 1 day it will inactive. When this account if you want to expire, just like the if we have account and if we want to make it expire on a specific date, then we can mention specific in the year, month and day format date. So but I don't want right now. So just like the, and if I do again, right, it has changed the value. Earlier it was this and now it was changing then according to this. So this is the password policy and how the password policy and min max days we can configure about these things. So this is the all about the users and group. So we have discussed about the how the things are happens here, everything, user mode and user deletion. Thank you for joining me into the video, and please make comments, and if you have any kind of question, make into the comment, I will answer that. And thank you for watching my video, and please share, like and subscribe my channel, so support me. I will further bring the more practical videos to the community. Thank you for joining me.